Hello YouTube, the Eye of Stone here. This is a walkthrough of the 5th mission of Thief the Dark Project, The Sword. It is the 6th mission of Thief Gold. It's played on Expert. This is the Thief Gold version of the level, so we will be visiting Little Big World. Because there's a mission critical reading that we need to do as an objective of this level, I use the registered version of Fraps, and for some reason Fraps doesn't like to grab still images from Thief, so I had to break the recording, switch to ZD Soft, and then switch back to Fraps to continue the level. So as a result of this, my in-game commentary is not live while I'm playing the level. I usually prefer to do it that way, but this is after the fact commentary this time around. So here we go. Your first piece of loot is outside the mansion.
Think anything will happen?
Probably not. But don't soft up, though.
Not me.
Additionally, very near the front entrance, there's kind of a fortified guard room off to the side with a nugget of loot in it. We're not going to be hitting that up this time, so this again is not going to be a max loot run. By the time you get to that little nugget of loot, you've probably gone through 4 guards total.
Too much coffee this morning.
I remember the first time this took a little bit of figuring out. Now, you don't want to just waste your few water arrows at the first opportunity, so the AIs can hear you and see you, so you cover your hearing base by staying on the carpet. As far as the seeing, you can hide in plain sight in broad daylight if you can hold still, keep distance, and get the right angle. You have to get the right angle, because if you don't have the right angle at distance, they will still see you, especially if you're moving and making noise. But if you're standing still and you're in their peripheral vision, it seems they don't see you as well, even though you're right out in the open. So I'm getting my distance back before he turns. Now, I actually, you can move across these tiles. You don't need to risk a jump like this if you don't want to. As long as you have the leisure. I have my pinky on the shift key, and I'm sorry, I'm sick. If head cold. If you tap the S key to slowly creep right before Garrett's about to make a sound, it sort of slows you down a bit. If you let off when Garrett starts to slow down, you won't make a sound. Even so, you want all the moss arrows you can get in this level. Why the mines are even present on Expert, I don't know. They're dangerous. It's kind of a weakness for Constantine that his level generates all these arrows.
What's that? Who goes? Can't hear it anymore.
There's good cover here. There's good cover here. I want to get the key that old Benny coming, well, not this way. I'm just watching him. Old Benny's gonna come this way and I want his key. Yoink. We are obviously in no rush whatsoever. No rush at all. To play, you know, the briefing even tells you that the game is stepping it up a bit on you by, you know, the requirement of having to get back out once you've gotten the sword rather. Now all of a sudden you have to get yourself out of what you get yourself into. What they don't tell you is that this level is built to make just playing it harder. The guards really are organized. Trouble tends to attract attention here.
Thought I saw something. Nothing here now. And when are they going to bring me my dinner? That's what I want to know. When are they going to bring me my dinner? Thought I saw something.
I like this area, this sort of cave of trees. It's really just a novel. It's a neat idea. I mean, what kind of aesthetic comes up with something like this? It really is fantastic and awesome. There's a raw nugget of loot to floss out. Now, what I'm looking for right now is on a different difficulty level. I think it's just normal. There's a key back here. There's the loot. You can turn this mushroom off by grabbing it. I'm not going to. On a different difficulty setting, there is a key back here, and I don't see it this time. I think it's by one of the trees. So I guess it's not here on Expert, but maybe I'm wrong. There is a moss arrow in here, in the giant planter, and I have some loot to grab. Starting with this level, oftentimes you're in broad daylight, or, I mean, it's not in daylight, but you're bright light, loud floors, and the only thing you have is your sense of timing and the fact that their back is turned to you. If you make noise, or if you don't stay behind them, you're done. It's one thing to ghost Bafford's manor, Lord Bafford's manor. It's another thing to ghost the sword. you have to learn their patterns and synchronize to it, and that invariably means slowing it down a lot. At this point, I decided that we're going to go to the greenhouses. That is where the incriminating evidence that we have to read about Constantine is. I'm not going to go in there at this point. That's the last thing I'm going to do before finishing this level. But there's other things to do there. There's loot and supplies to be had. So I figure before we undertake the expedition to Little Big World, we'll stock up a bit. Because we're going to need it. Oops, see now, right there. Did you hear that? He was like, who goes there? That's an example of him seeing me much further away than I was from that other guard. And I have to duck and grab because I've got more loot right here. But that guard back there, he was further away. And I was moving and I had the angle wrong. It wasn't just the movement, it was also the angle. I was moving, but it was also the angle. All of a sudden, his range of vision just doubled. And I'm still going a little bit faster than I would generally. So there's a lot of hmms right now. But that's okay. As long as I don't start chasing.
Nothing there now.
This was another one of those what the hell moments. You realize that the same laws just don't apply here. This is a pain. You have to shoot through water. You have to get that there and go through the water, and there's goodies up there, but it's a dangerous fall. It's a neat room, but this is kind of out of the way. But it's a big house. I don't know what way it would be in. But you gotta wedge yourself in here and then get yourself back out. Mainly it's good to collect as many moss arrows as you can. See, I'm stuck temporarily. It won't be the last time either. So now am I down low enough to not injure myself and salvage the rope arrow? Because we're certainly going to need the rope arrows for Little Big World. They're the most critical tool. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm wondering if when I jump through here, is the guard going to be right there? You know, as much as Thief is a game of skill and technique, inevitably there is an element of chance and luck involved. It's too complicated a situation to reduce to a perfect technique. Period. And on top of that, there's always the wonderful effect of bugs. While they can foul up any given run through, some of the bugs in both the first two games, and even the third two, are too interesting to patch away completely. I mean, this version of Thief Gold is not a vintage copy. This is one of the most updated versions of Thief Gold you can get. And there's still plenty of bugs, and I don't want to get rid of them. They've produced some very entertaining results over the years. I'm not interested in high-res texture packs or I want it to look the way it did back in the day. I mean, I know all that stuff takes a lot of effort, and I'm glad people are interested. I really am. There have been other things like, compatibility research and specific error fixes that I've benefited from immeasurably. And all the people who've done that deserve a shout out. But, because I didn't do the work. But I liked the game to look the way it always did. So here I'm waiting for this roamer up here to finish his circuit, because I don't care to have him standing there cursing me while I dive into the water. Because I don't know where he is at this point. So just take it slow. I like the waiting. A lot of people, I know it gets tedious, but I enjoy being the spider. So, in the Thief Gold version, there's that button there, and take a breath. Now, there's a current here. I have my finger on W all the way, full speed ahead. Go with the current, find the spot in the water where you are not resisting the current at all, where you're speeding it up. Just don't catch yourself on the corners, and try not to be totally in contact with the wall, because that, I believe, slows you down a bit too. It's not terribly difficult. And here we are in Little Big World. I got stuck here. Really annoyed me. Now, I almost go over the edge. I was really worried because who knows? That could have, crashed the level or just died more likely. So I put the brakes on up here. This is also going to be a pretty quick tour of the first part of Little Big World, because I don't really want to meet this guy, this guard here. So we're going to go through the village pretty quickly. This'll be handy. If the guard sees you, that dam will not stop him. He'll go around the side and he will chase you. He can walk in this lake. It won't drown him. He doesn't usually follow you into here, but I don't want to have to deal with him, so for those of you who are watching who haven't seen this before, prepare for something of a shock. I was not immediately aware it was only now, right here, that I became aware of exactly what Little Big World meant. I'd heard of it, but now I understood why they called it. The written descriptions just did not get it across to me. I hadn't read too many written descriptions either. Here you have to start your route at the top and work your way down. If you're going to ascend, you have to start building your bridge or your ladder from way up. Now, yes, you have ropes, but they're not safety ropes. This is free climbing El Capitan in Yellowstone. this part of the level is cold weather camping in a national park. You don't exactly, as I say, you don't exactly step up and have a grand old time here, willy-nilly. Most of the time, a mistake in this level is lethal. And to get out of here, you have to take a bunch of risks. So what I'm doing is I'm deploying a rope here just to give me a chance of grabbing something if I don't make the jump. Not a guarantee, but it's better than nothing. I made the jump. That rope arrow might save you, it might not. Those 4 shelves are pretty much the most dangerous part. And we're gonna go up there because there's goodies. Get a good running jump, similar to Tomb Raider. Now, theoretically, all I needed to do was to shoot onto this first shelf because there is a spool of thread hanging down at the other side to the right up there that I could have used to get to the top. But there's a bunch of junk up there and it's pretty crammed and it's kind of awkward. So I actually elected to risk losing an arrow and just make my own way. So we're just making our ascent. There's got to be enough volume in this part of Little Big World to fit several thief levels in. See, the shelf is so thick, I could barely get up. I could barely vault up onto this. There's got to be space for several levels here. See, now here what I was doing is I was trying to figure out where's the best place to make my running jump from. Where can I get the most momentum? And I thought about jumping from here, but there's something in the middle of the spool that I was catching on. So I might have been able to hop it, but I would have just plummeted right over. So I'm looking for a place where I can get a good running jump. And actually, the thimble and the wall is the best place. I barely made it, but it worked. Now this is the matchbook. There's matches with fire arrows. It's a matchbook. And I get stuck. So I wasn't gonna rush it because rush it too much and you just go sailing over the edge. Don't want to put too much energy into this jump. But just trying to get you killed. And I thought that the red part of the matchbook was made of wood, so I waste a rope arrow here, but it's made of metal. -1 rope arrow. I get myself out. Now you have to take a deeper jump, a further jump than... See, I'm going for the thread here. That was pretty risky. This is very dense water, so it will break your fall. But you don't want to smack yourself on the edges of this tub. There are a few guards here. There's a letter we're not going to read, but in it Constantine laments the fact that his guards sometimes stray into his monumental sanctuary, as it were. You know, it's interesting because if you look at the rat beasts later in this game, if you look at their waists, they appear to be wearing the tattered remnants of these house guards. So either the guards are rat beasts in disguise for when Constantine was trying to stay undercover in the city, or Constantine or Victoria turned the guards into rat beasts. I don't know how else to explain. I don't know how else to explain the remnants of the uniforms. Now, I take a point of damage here. That is just a stupid mistake. Pretty heavy coins. I can't stand doing these walkthroughs with having taken damage, but now here, let's just say there are certain consequences of sitting at the computer for half an hour straight at this point, and drinking, caffeinated beverages the whole time. So bear with me. It's only about 40 seconds. Not the only time it's going to happen during this walkthrough, but I don't like breaking the recording. I don't like pausing. I do not allow myself to quick save and quick load during these walkthroughs, and that's why I don't like breaking the recordings for text. But in many instances in Thief, reading things is mission critical, so you have to. But I like to do these as live as it's possible to do. I just want these to have continuity. It's mainly supposed to be technique demonstration, so here we go. Okay, here we go. Pretty big fire. I would think that would melt the skin off your bones at some distance. Some awesome cheese. I absolutely love the ambience in this level. This really simple loop that Mr. Boresius came up with. Most mistakes in Little Big World are lethal. I mean, except for when you're walking across the planes of the floor here. You're usually doing high climbing. If I could spend all my money on rope arrows ahead of time, it would be interesting to see if you could get all the way up to the top of that door. And if they've put anything up there for you. In Thief, now that rope arrow, you saw right, I just missed with the first rope arrow. We're going to recover it. And I knew I would probably be able to, because everything is wood. I didn't hear it break on the stone tabletop, so we will get that first rope arrow we just wasted back. You probably can't see it, but now I know exactly where it is. We're going to go back for it in just a bit here. But it would be, in Thief 2, you can kneel or crouch over and fire an arrow straight up. And in most cases, if you're outside, it'll come right back down and break. In Thief 1, I'm still experimenting, but it doesn't seem to be quite as flexible. But even so, we got a lot of space to work with here. So what I'm saying is, once you start climbing, and I took a point of damage here, and this is also a pretty dangerous jump I make here too. And I do make it, but here was an instance where the height is just too great, and I'm obliged to leave this rope arrow. But once you start climbing, you can't, it's not like rock climbing, you can't, here's the rope arrow right here. Once you start climbing, you have to have your way ready for you, so I wonder how high it is possible to get, you know, maybe if I could climb up on that chair and shoot rope arrows at the door and just get myself all the way up to the top of that door. It'll be probably the subject of a little gameplay video. A video for my gameplay videos playlist. See whether or not I can pull that off. Do a little target practice here. Since it doesn't take much energy to kill these things, I'm just doing a range finding exercise. Taught to distance. The more the merrier with the moss arrows. Now here's an instance where I went off the bed, and I also went into the chest at the foot of the bed. But I didn't like this right here. It made me nervous. Maybe it's stupid that it made me nervous, but I didn't like the idea of going up while trying to get down. Even though I wasn't necessarily trying to get to the floor, I had to make this jump, and I really didn't like it. You can see I'm hesitating. I mean, I know I have to do it, but I did not like this. And it was fine, but I was, wondering if I was going to take a point of damage. I was wondering if I was going to hit too steep a curve with too much energy. But it worked. The point is, it worked, so chill out. But I won't lie, I am very new to Thief Gold. I don't have a vast body of experience. I almost forgot the funniest part. Real pleasant Constantine. Abusing our power just a bit. I don't have a vast abundance of experience with Little Big World, and I was really pushing myself to get us through here. If I died, it would be a total restart for the whole walkthrough. That's just my parameter to myself. I had to do the whole level without necessitating a reload. I do not allow myself saving or loading while recording these walkthroughs. That's why I don't like to break up the recordings to insert mission critical texts, but I know I have to. Now again, I don't have years of getting out of this chest under my belt to know what exactly is the best way. I could just as easily have spilled myself over the side and been done, or better off dead. But from now on, this just seems to be the simplest thing, seems to be the easiest. Really love the sound effect, the music sound effect loop here. Here's another case where I just had to leave the rope arrow. Really, the whole time I was doing Little Big World, this is the part I was dreading, because it's I believe, the highest distance, aside from maybe that door, or climb up that door. I mean, you see my aim is getting a little twitchy right here. This may be the highest single ascent in Little Big World. Maybe it's even higher than the door would be. The door would be this proposed door climb I'm gonna do. But you just don't get, there is no mistake here. And I do make I almost make a mistake here. I barely managed to grab the rope with this last jump when I Actually, it's when I vault up. I missed again. So that's a mistake right there, and then I mount the rope properly. No, I didn't mount the rope properly. I was hopping the rope. I was struggling to get a hold on it, and that was a mistake. I very nearly died there, but you don't stop fighting. Let the level kill you if it's gonna kill you. Don't help it. Don't help it kill you, and don't just stop and let it kill you. You have to know you're gonna make it. Now I could go up that way through that door, but and in retrospect, that by the time we get to the 3rd floor, I get pretty goal oriented, and I can tell you right now that coming back to the sword from Little Big World, I just had this serious disorientation, and this all seems so claustrophobic. And I don't want to say that the sword, that Constantine's house was underwhelming, but then again, Little Big World is quite a doozy, isn't it? But as strange as it is, Sword, Constantine's mansion is a familiar locale compared to Little Big World. So we're going to work on the 2nd floor for a while here. The first time I played the level, these were very confusing because there was just no way to get into them. I didn't know that they were there because they have to be there for later. This is always an annoying part because you got to make some jumps, and it's easy to bump your head and not make the jump. I just show here that how the level is laid out and where things go into each other. See, this is a good way to get back to the entrance exit. Now, again, because the red room to the left is booby-trapped, at first I was thinking I was going to put it off, but really I'm not going to be coming this way again for any reason, so in a minute in a second here, I'm going to man up and get back in there and do what I need to do this in the right order. It's annoying, and there's loot involved, but there's a lot of traps, and there's gonna be some bad noise. He can see you from down there, so this is a tricky jump because you fly into those flat vertical surfaces and you just fall down. You can take this nugget here, this raw, rough gem, but be careful opening the door. Now, somebody's all pissed off. It's not the guard up here who's on roaming patrol at the other end of that room. It's actually the guard downstairs in the dining room. That's why the door in the floor is so handy, because he's a tense one, and he will come up here, but he's not going to get to us, because he can't jump across the staircase. There is a guard up here on roaming, and I'm looking out for him. See, I think it's the guard. At this point, I realize that it's not the guard who's up here, and the guard downstairs calmed down. So I see him doing his normal thing. So I'm going to get out of sight now.
Nothing now.
So it's all cool. I will not restart a level just because someone's like, huh? Even so, I do get away with a lot more here than I should have. All the jumping I do, I make a fair bit of noise here. The guard who is up here, like that was a waste. That was a mistake. The guard who is up here should have gotten pissed over this, but he didn't. You actually want to jump into the explosive barrel. That's actually safer than risking the pressure plates. I jumped, but you could just as well do a diagonal, I think. Floss the loot. Now, if you ease, I'm watching to see that he's not going to be in the room when I do it, but if you ease yourself down slowly, if you don't get too much speed built up, I've been noticing lately, at least with Thief Gold, I don't remember it with Thief TDP, but like why did I hit the floor there without making a thud? I should have made at least a bump. This door is really handy because you just, rather than having to negotiate this room where there's two guards coming and going, and if you want any shadow, you have to waste a water arrow. Your resources are precious here. Since I'm doing Thieves Guild and Mage Towers and Song of the Caverns later, I skipped from Assassins. I skipped Thieves Guild, so I'm doing this level without any loot. I didn't have any money to equip myself, so I'm doing this level with the bare minimum. Only what I can scavenge from the level itself and what they equip you with at the beginning. I know I said at the end of Assassins that I was gonna do Thieves Guild next, but to do the Thief Gold levels the way I want to for this walkthrough, these flies are annoying. I just want the loot. To do the Thief Gold levels the way I want to for this walkthrough, I need to make more time available. I think this is Victoria's bedroom, and the reason for that is on the table there is a book that talks about magical plants, and a scroll in Ramirez's counting room mentions Victoria as trafficking in magic and medicinal plants. That was her undercover role in the city, so I think that's her bedroom, but I could be wrong. I need to arrange like to play at least Thieves Guild. Yeah, I get to head on down the road here. To play Thieves Guild the way I want to for this walkthrough, I need like 3 or 4 hours. I'm not saying the video will end up being that long, but I need to not have anything. I can do a level like this in an hour and change, and then have an hour-long video, and it's fine. Or 2 hours, but to really be able to mellow out and do the Thieves Guild the way I need to, I need like a 3 or 4 hour block of time. Now, Mage Towers, it may be different. I didn't find Mage Towers nearly as difficult as Thieves Guild. The getting access to whoever the two lords are in Thieves Guild, that's really a drag. Just getting to all the places you need to go to. Getting to all the places you need to go to without leaving a... Now... here, right about here, I had nature called again, so it's going to be just a tad bit longer this time. I'll just mention while we wait. I am sick. I'll just mention while we wait. Mage Towers I didn't have nearly as the trouble with it. Thieves Guild, what ends up happening is you end up just slaughtering everybody or knocking everybody out. It just it's not, playing it like a level of Thief is quite a challenge. Playing it like a level of Doom is almost more logical, but that's not Thief. Song of the Caverns I can probably do, because of all the Thief Gold levels, so far I've played that one the most. I want to play Mage Towers more, but we will get there. We will get there. I will do the Thief Gold levels. I just need to schedule some more time for them. In the meantime, while I'm making this recording, I've already done the gameplay for the Haunted Cathedral, so that's done, and I'm keen to get the TDP walkthrough wrapped up pretty decently. Here, I'm just going to show you sort of a view of the front hall. We're not going to go down there because there's, like, again, 4 guards. There are 3 or 4 guards, but and there's another useless room here that there's nothing in there, and it triggers the air elementals. So I'm just inching my way. This really reminds me of the Disney version of Alice in Wonderland, the rabbit's hole, when she's chasing him. And the first time I saw this hallway rather, my visual cortex just did not process it properly. But then I was like, oh, wow. Keep it diagonal there. As soon as I could figure out that that was a hallway, it reminded me of Alice in Wonderland. I like this room. It's a cozy reading room. And I really want one of these in my house. Not the tapestry, but a door that opens into a face. Just go and look at it once a day. This is Constantine's bedroom, and why he has a wrought iron door on it, I don't know. Now, in Thief the Dark Project, the key to the greenhouse sanctuary is here by the bed. In the Thief Gold version, I just had to remember it's in the closet. And what exactly he does with a bathtub full of dirt, I don't know or want to know. Now this was rather dumb right here. The fact that I ducked probably saved me. This is... smooth. bit gratuitous, if you ask me. Alright, so now we get to floss the loot out of the other side of the first floor now. And I don't like this guard. This is one of the guards I have had a decade-long hate relationship with this guard. I do not like this guard. He fouls up my style every time. It's not... I have not figured out how to do my thing with him. The whole stealth thing, so... And by this point, I don't mind telling you, I was beginning to tire out. I was beginning to get tired at this point. So, I go ahead and KO this guy.
Someone make...
I just am not able to get to the two front rooms where there's loot without him. His circuit is too small, and the proximity is too close. This is Constantine's art gallery. There's a room similar to this on the other side of the house that I don't show in this walkthrough, but there's nothing in it. It's just a fireplace. And that window there, you could just barely see it because I went fast. When we play Escape, we're going to be making... That's my siege window. You can shoot through that window. So, I'm just trying to get out of sight here. We're going to let this guard do his circuit, and I'm going to raid the bar. Again, this is no... I mean, I didn't even pause the game while I was doing the bathroom breaks, so this is no saving, no loading, no pausing. Is beginning to tire out. But that's when it's the most satisfying. It's a runner's high when you pull it off anyway. I mean, I'm exhausted. Garrett's injured. Proceeding to the third floor. In hindsight, I don't show as much of the third floor here as I would have liked to. I would have liked to have gone into a little more detail here. But I show a few things, but I'm pretty much just trying to get to the sword. That window there is really weird. It's beautiful, but it's weird. We're gonna see it again in a minute, right here. Of course I would stop to show you this, though. That noise just gets inside my head. It's a long way down to the next star. 67 trillion miles. This is a hazardous little challenge here. Now, I had a problem here because they got suspicious and did not disperse for their roaming patrol.
Listen.
Hey, what was that?
Hear that?
I already knew I was in for it at this point. I spooked them and they didn't disperse for their roaming patrol. At least I'm assuming that they roam, generally speaking, in Thief Gold the way they roam. I didn't come up this way the last time I've played in Thief Gold. I got the sword through the other side over there. As far as I can tell, they were still roaming the last time I played this level in Thief Gold, the Thief Gold version. But this time they don't disperse, so I'm basically going to be obligated to at least knock these two out, but I end up having to take the archer down too, because he gets suspicious, and he has a health potion, which I really need, because I'm injured. So I'm trying to goad them into having their conversation and dispersing, and I'm also trying to take out the lights. They're not dispersing. Shameless plug for one of my other videos. I do demonstrate how you can grab the sword and get the hell out without knocking out any of these 3 guards. So it is possible, and I can do it. If you look at my video, Thief No Chase Steals, in my Thief series gameplay playlist, I show how you can nab the sword cleanly. You do have to take out the torches, but these knockouts are not... Here's where I should have done the knockouts, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to get their bodies out of the way in time for this guy who's already coming back.
All quiet now. Must have been rats.
Whoa! It was nothing.
The vibes were getting really tense. So I'm going for it. Just a second here. Getting my flash bombs ready if necessary. And I knew I hadn't gotten away with this. I knew I was in trouble. It was just a matter of time until someone piped up about it. Until someone let me hear about it. You notice I was just standing there listening. I did not expect that I had gotten away with knocking out 3 guards at once on hard tile. And I was surprised that the whole floor wasn't after me at this point. Not the whole floor, but I had 1 guard after me as opposed to the 3 who are down there at the base of this room. Why they weren't pissed off, I don't know. It was just one of the roamers in the other part of the 3rd story who got irked at me at this point. And I almost
Time
went
to
sailing
take my
over the
new
side
sword
there.
and get out of this crazy place.
So now I just want out of here in the worst sort of way. I did come up here to show you this was always kind of weird. What is that thing? It doesn't generate much light, but what were they trying to do here? I mean, the imagery is kind of problematic, if you ask me, but I'm immature. And I goofed this up too, but not too bad. I didn't rush it though, sometimes this is one of those situations where it was more just a function of probability and I decided that there was just no reason. 4 knockouts is more than enough. And I had distance to get away from him. But I do these at night, of course, and I was just ragged at this point. Because we still have to go read the incriminating evidence. But I, decked the guy down here so I could take a shorter route into the garden. Why I didn't go through this door is I was asleep at the wheel. Trying to get to Shadow. There we go. There are some fine details and some little nooks and crannies and areas that I'm not getting to this time. This is just a demonstration of how to do a decent job of completing all the goals and getting most of the loot. Well, completing all the goals. I don't know what I said a second ago. I said most of the goals or most of the loot. Ugh. And of course, this area was a total mystery before I started playing on Expert because there was seemingly no way to get in here. I didn't quite make the connections between that key and this room. I don't even know if that key is available not on Expert. So, 2 things to read. The scroll is the mission critical thing, and we're going to take a look at it right now. So here it is. I have it up here for about 20 seconds. That's enough for you to pause it if 20 seconds isn't enough. You have to read this or you can't complete the level. Now the only thing left to do is to get the heck out of here. Now, I actually do break the recording a second time because you may not be able to tell because I've done some editing, but at this point I noticed that the video, the gamma adjust was getting progressively darker, and it has something to do with ZD Soft. It's not Fraps. I've eliminated Fraps as the culprit. Yeah, I can even see it here doing this voiceover. Something about ZD Soft really messes the gamma up bad, and I do not like ZD Soft Game Recorder. I only use it because Fraps doesn't work for the still images in this game, but I do break the recording and do my little fix to reset the gamma adjust because the level was just going black, and I am going to sort of jump from one area of this room to the next here. But this just looked horrible. Okay, so it's just a quick little... I didn't even have to close the game or save. I just had to minimize and go to the options screen and readjust. So apparently readjusting the gamma slider helps. I'm just trying to make a decently graceful exit. Wouldn't do to have the whole level chasing me. I don't know why I was waiting so far back here for him this time. Probably just spooked from fatigue. Well, so a decent jaunt to Constantine's Manor, I think. I may even upload it concurrently with this, so I won't even say coming soon, but I already have the gameplay for the Haunted Cathedral. I just have to add the commentary for that too, and I will see you all at that point. So here are the goals. You can pause. Obviously I accomplished all of them, and here come the stats. So I missed about 300 loot. 4 knockouts. I was shooting for none, but oh well.